Hey, what's going on, everybody on YouTube? Steve here, Raiken Profit, RaikenProfit.com. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic night. I've been spending the last hour or so doing some listings and getting some items ready to be shipped off tomorrow. As you guys know, I've been going full force with eBay and getting a bunch of systems created. I've been working on getting my new little warehouse area, if you want to call it that, at my new apartment all set up. And I just wanted to share with you guys my bin system right here for my smaller items. I do want to state for my clothing, I'm going to be keeping the same inventory system, which essentially is, oopsies, sorry about that, which is the masking tape system. I've got a letter and then I've got a number associated to that, and essentially it goes in rows, so you have the A's, the B's, the C's, the D's, and then the numbers follow. So this is D24 right here. This actually isn't even listed. I've got quite a few pieces of clothing that need to be listed, well over 100, probably 125 clothing items that need to be listed. So I've been working every single day getting that set up. But clothing is going to be inventory. What am I trying to say? The inventory system for my clothing, I'm like trying to make up words here, is going to stay the same. The bin system, though, has been completed, so I kind of want to share that with you. It's not a death pile, but as you guys know, I haven't really been doing eBay much over the last year or so. It's been a part-time gig, and it's just been something I've kind of just been doing here and there. And if I was out thrifting and I saw a really cool item, I'd pick it up, and it wouldn't go in the death pile. It would go in the clothing investment pile, because I know my clothing, a lot of the clothing items that I pick up hold and retain their value. So yeah, guys, let's dive into this video. What's going on, Bossy Baby, Gina? Good to see you guys. Glad you're here. So here's the bin system, guys. I've got a shelf. This is a 5-tier shelf right here that I ended up picking up at a garage sale for $10, and I've got quite a few of them. As you can see going down, I've got about 4 or 5 of them. So that's number one. You're going to need a shelf to create this system. Number two, we've got some hefty bins. Now, these I picked up from Walmart, each new. If you're out at the thrift stores or you're at a garage sale, you could pick them up for $1 or $2. These were about $7 or $8 each one of these bins, and they're a pretty good size. As you can see, pretty good size. And number three, what I did was I went over to Canva, and I created a pretty much a graphic in a sense. One that said bin 1, bin 2, all the way to bin 8. I made the letters bold. I made it stand out. And I decided to use the word bin and then the number associated with it. I didn't go with like A5 or A7 because I didn't want to mix up my clothing inventory numbers with my small items, which obviously I'm not going to have as many smalls as I am going to be having with clothing. So I decided to use a different phrase versus just a letter at first. So it doesn't matter what you choose, but bin 1, bin 2, bin 3, all the way down to bin 8. And I've got quite a few items to list. As you can see over here, we've probably got 1 or 2 Amazon FBA shipments that need to be sent out. Bunch of some retail arbitrage stuff that I never sent out from last summer. Some brand new board games, some toys down here. And then we have a couple right over here, some eBay stuff that needs to be listed as well. So that's the bin system. So let's move on and talk about how I find my products and put them in the correct bin. So when I list an item, for example, let's say I list up this Dell charger. Once I photograph it and I go through the listing and I list it up, I list on the mobile device. So what I'll do when I'm listing my items is I'll have the bin right next to me at the beginning. So let's just say I have bin 6 next to me. I'll put all the small items that I list in bin number 6. And then when I'm done listing, I sit down on the desktop and I sort my active listings from the last one listed, and I just go through and I add the the bin number to the SKU label section. So that's what I do. If you're listing on the desktop, then you can actually just put in your SKU right then and there. Unfortunately, when you're listing on mobile, that option isn't there right now. Hey, what's going on, RT? Good to see you. You're cute too. Let's see, what else is there to discuss? So I discussed the shelves, I discussed the bins, I discussed the inventory numbers. And lastly, like I said, once you list it, you have to make sure to put that number, whether it's a letter and a number or, you know, a phrase and a number, whatever, right, in the SKU label section. And actually, when you go onto your orders page, you can actually customize it to show certain fields. So for example, you can have it show the SKU label, because if you don't have that customized, it's not going to show it. So you're going to have to go in and customize that. Customize that on your active listings as well, because if you're listing from mobile, you're not going to be able to put your SKU label in, so you're going to have to go in there afterwards, active listings, customize that, make sure the SKU label is showing, and then put in your custom inventory number. So that's about it. You know, we're on phase 3 right now in terms of my workspace down here. Let me show you around for the guys who haven't seen it yet. So here's all the inventory behind me. Let me actually flip this around. So that's the inventory. We've got a couple empty shelves right here, which are going to slowly fill up. Here's some more bins. I actually picked those up at the thrift store. We've got some books that need to be shipped out. Those are just some random DVDs. Of course not, Pittsburgh Mike, man. I'm always jumping around. I'm, you know, experimenting, trying new things. And that's the cool thing about, you know, being, you know, an entrepreneur or an eBay seller or an Amazon seller. You don't have to be stuck in a box. So you'll never keep me in a box. I do what I want, when I want. And that's the best part about being a reseller or an entrepreneur running your own business. You can't hold me back, and no one can hold you back either. You do what you want, right? As long as you're making money. So anyways, shelving system right here. Here are the clothes right back here. Most of those need to be listed. And I'm telling you guys right now, I've been aiming for 10 to 15, sometimes 20 listings per day. The smalls are really, really easy to list. But I'm aiming for at least, you know, 10 clothing items a day. That's my goal. Let me flip around the camera. What else we got going? Here's a bunch of inventory that needs to be processed. Some clothes that need to be processed, more inventory. Here's the photography cube that I have going on right here. That's where I'm photographing a lot of the smalls. This needs to get set up. That's been sitting around forever. Here's my little bin with just random stuff, clip-on ties, tape, different things like that. Here's my shipments that are going to be sent out tomorrow. I've got my Netflix on right now. I've got, I don't know, 10 or 11 items that need to be shipped out. Over here, this is going to be in phase 3, well, phase 4, getting this all organized. I've got a whole bunch of, I know, I always call it shipments. It's shipments. I've got a Jewish accent that made no sense, but take it for what it's worth. Here we have the shipment, the box, the material area right here. It's very empty and naked right now, right? So, I've actually got a bunch of boxes that I had just picked up recently at Walmart, and that's going to be getting filled out over here. So USPS, I've got I always want to call it a shipment of boxes and different materials coming on in. So this is going to get filled out. I am using little those little F and SKU stickers to kind of label everything. I'm a man that needs to be organized. If I am not organized, I will not do the work. So I'm striving towards organization. I'm striving towards having things systemized and having things where I want to find it. So this is the area right here, guys. Show you it. I know you guys have probably been following me and seeing this place slowly develop over time. It's a work in progress, but this is the shipping area in front of me. Like I said, those are some items I had just listed. Steamer, random stuff here. Bikes that are mine / need to be listed, random tripod. This is where the clothing area is going to be. This is where I've been taking pictures. I've been using the white wall just as the backdrop. Dirty ass mannequin right here, which thank God the clothing goes over it, because this thing has been like through hell and back. I tell you right now. But that is about it, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask away, and I'll do the best I can to help you guys out if you're looking to organize your inventory or get started on eBay. I'm going to put this down and answer some questions. Yeah, it definitely feels good to be settled down and organized. It still needs to be organized a bit. Definitely some systems that need to get put in place. I need the boxes. I need the USPS materials coming in because I've been having to ship so many items because I've been listing like crazy that it's hard to find the right boxes if you're not prepared. So that's one thing I'm working on in phase 4, getting the shipping area all put together, and getting the clothing items listed. Average sales per day, it's really up and down. I've been really going at it hard for about the last month. I've done like $3,000 in like 2 weeks because I've just been listing like crazy. A lot of high-end stuff too that I had sitting around. So I don't know what my average sale is, to be honest with you. I'm just listing. That's what I'm focusing on. Yeah, I'm just buying the boxes over at Walmart. I could go dumpster diving and I could go ask around at, the dollar store and different places like that. But right now, it's pretty cheap just to buy the boxes. And I'm not really concerned right now with saving a couple bucks. I'm concerned with listing, getting good routines in. And then phase 5, phase 6, hopefully sooner than later, I will have hired my lister, photographer, my eBay person to come in once a week part-time to list 1,500 items for me. Maybe less, maybe more. I'm not really sure. I'm not really concerned with where I'm going to be then. I'm just focusing on this phase and I'm taking the next step. So definitely the next couple of steps are going to include hiring somebody. So what's going on, Corey? Good to see you. If you guys are enjoying this video, be sure to hit the like button. I can't see how many likes there are right now, so I want to have faith in my Raiken Profit followers that you will smash that like button because I like it. I like when you hit it. How long did it take to get selling and following? Selling and a following? What's your advice? I don't have a following on eBay, but I've been selling on eBay for 4 years on and off. So if you guys have been following me for a while, I like to get my hands dirty in a bunch of different things. I get bored easily. So there's times where I go full time with eBay. There's times where I completely abandon it. But the cool thing is with eBay and Amazon and Craigslist, you could leave, but you want to know what? You could always come back. If you need some extra cash or you're just bored or, maybe you want to just have some fun, right? Because it's enjoyable, listing sometimes. It definitely gets bored sometimes, and, sometimes I want to shoot myself in the head listing. I'm sure you guys all know how that is, but that's the cool thing about this entrepreneurship gig, you can do whatever you want. As long as you're making money, you can bounce back and forth. You can stick with something. You can do whatever you please. So I don't actually include the packing slips right now. So I'm not doing it. Obviously, is it professional? Yes. Will it help maybe with feedback? Probably. But right now, I'm just really not concerned with that. I'm sure it's probably best to do it. And I'd probably advise you to do it. But to be honest, I haven't been including the packing slips. And I haven't been including the thank you stickers. I haven't been including any business cards. I've literally just been listing, and shipping. Hey, what's going on, Alex? I would, if you're on a budget, I would get any of the Canon Power Shots. The 330, the 340 is good. You could get those for probably under a couple $100. They're point and shoot cameras. I'd stay away from the DSLR cameras, Alex, because they're so big and bulky. What do I have right now? I have the Canon G7X, but that's like $400 or $500. That's probably like one of the best point and shoots you can get. Where would you list an antique chest? Probably locally because I wouldn't want to ship it. Yeah, I mean, packing slips and thank you stickers, it's definitely a good practice. I'm just focused on listing right now, but I'll get that system in line eventually. Justin's been focusing on Amazon FBA, but I'm still learning eBay. Yeah, FBA is great. I like to send out a couple shipments per week. FBA, as you can see over here, I like to do board games. I like to sell books, new in the box stuff, video games, random electronics. I sell a bunch of different stuff on Amazon. Yep, I have a Shopify store, and it's it's another one of my side hustles right now. Just like eBay is a side hustle, I've got some products that I've created as a side hustle. I do some email marketing. I do some Craigslist bicycles as a side hustle. I've got Shopify, which is a side hustle. I do Facebook marketing for my Shopify business. So it's going well. It's just growing each and every day. Is there a software you recommend for your listings? There's third-party softwares out there. I use Inventory Lab for Amazon. For eBay, I don't use any third-party softwares. Yeah, the CyberShot, I think that's what it's called. That Sony, Alex, should do fine. I've never used it before. Dustin, what's up, Dustin? Good to see you, man. I do bins with clothing by inventory. Yeah, I would put I'd put clothing in bins as well, but how are you going to put something like this, in a bin? How are you even going to polybag it? It's a huge LL Bean leather jacket. So I sell a lot of bigger items. I just sold this a couple minutes ago for $35 plus $5 shipping. It's a really nice. Let me see if you guys can guess what brand this sport coat is. Let me make sure I don't spoil the surprise for you. Any idea what brand you guys think this is? It's beautiful, but I sold it for $35 plus $5 shipping. So it's Ted Baker. I'll just give it away. Yeah, I like to hang my blazers and sport coats as well. It just makes it look nice. Do you keep detailed records of inventory and bookkeeping per item, price paid, price sold? Yes. Well, I don't know how detailed, I guess you want to call it, but I have a specific credit card that I use for all my business stuff, and I have a bookkeeper. So, everything's broken down, cost of goods sold, the various deductions and whatnot. So if you are, selling on eBay and you're obviously buying your inventory for eBay, have a specific credit card that you use only for business and don't mix personal. And have a specific bank account that all your income comes in, so you can see, and there's no misconceptions of what's income and what's deductible, right? Cost of goods and everything. My bookkeeper is actually $300 a month, and I've got quite a few different income streams coming in, and there's a lot of different things that my bookkeeper does. It's not just a basic bookkeeper. I'm not going to dive into all the details today, but you can get one for $100 or less if it's just a basic, probably even less than that. If you just get a basic, random person. My bookkeeper is actually, it's like an accountant firm as well, so they do a bunch of various things for me, and it's much more than just a bookkeeper. It's more of a strategist as well, with my entity structures and different things like that. So it's almost like having a partner. It's a little different, but probably $100 a month or less you can find one, just a normal one. Hey, Robo Vintage, good to see ya. Grinding here in Indiana. What's up? Not much, man. Just making this video talking about my inventory system. If you missed it, be sure to watch the replay afterwards. Bobby Moon says, in the setup, Steve. Systems are important. Like I said before, I've recognized over the last 4 years of working for myself, because if you don't know my story, I came from, working delivery pizza jobs and, different restaurants and retail and stuff like that. And I came from a world where I would just show up, clock in, clock out. And when I transitioned into, having my own business, whether it was eBay or Amazon or my own products or YouTube, membership sites, all the different things, I was responsible for so many things. I was wearing so many hats. I had so many, actions that I had to take on a daily basis. And I realized that if I was unorganized and I couldn't find something, or if I didn't have a system in place, it would kill my motivation and the results would really hinder significantly. So I've learned it's so important to get systems in place early on. And to be 100% transparent with you guys, I just put this bin system in. And if you guys don't know the story, I just moved to this new place. So, I hadn't been selling on eBay much. It was only part-time. I didn't have any systems in line. So I came here, I built up my one store up to, I think it was like 80 or 90 items recently on eBay. And I was starting to struggle finding things. And I said, you know what, I've got to stop this right now. I've got to put an inventory system in place. And it's so beneficial to just take the time now. I mean, I know we want to focus on listing. We want to focus on making that money now. But putting systems in place to save time is going to reduce stress like crazy. I mean, I'm sure you guys all have the days where you're rushing, you got a million things to do, and the last thing you want to do is spend an hour shipping items and waste, 20, 30 minutes trying to find an item. So having that system in line is going to help you significantly to reduce stress and to speed up your day, to focus on the things that really matter most. So, Alex is saying I adopted the bin system too. I love it. Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to 10K on the Bay, because watching his videos lately have been extremely beneficial, resourceful, and he's doing a really, really great job. So although he is using the bins for clothing, I took it and I used it for my smaller items, because I do prefer to, hang my clothing on my commercial racks that I have. I don't know, I just like it more. It's just a preference. Either way works. But big shout out to Chris, 10K on the Bay, awesome YouTube channel. So we got 177 people watching live right now. I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask away. I'm kind of in a little round robin Q&A right here. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop a line. Daquan, good to see ya. PR says only 59 likes. I'm telling you. Someone mentioned, I run sales and I don't get a boost in sales. I typically always do. Every time I run a sale, I always tend to make more sales. I think that I think it helps rank you better. Plus, I think people want to see that discount. I mean, go to any retail store. What do you always see? What's the most common thing? There's always signs. 50% off, 1-day sale. People love sales, and I know for a fact it helps with conversions. If you have 100 people land on your sales page, your conversion rate is going to be increased if you have a sale running versus no sale, right? And even if the sale you started higher and it comes down to the same price, but you're running a sale, you're going to convert better. It's just human psychology. People typically will not act and make a move unless they really, really love something, but there's got to be urgency there. There's got to be urgency. So that's really, really big. What about packaging before shipping? I don't, just because the shipping method could be different, right? Like I honestly don't know how Bonafide does it. My partner Bonafide Hustler with the Green Room, he pre-packages everything and boxes it all. I don't know how he does it. Maybe it's because he's in the middle of the country, but here I'm in Connecticut. I'm all the way on the East Coast. I might be shipping regional rate A, or I might be going regional rate B, or I might be going, a flat rate, or I might be going with just a weight-based priority if I'm going to the West Coast, or if I'm going to Georgia, if I'm going to Pennsylvania. So I don't pre-package it because I just don't see the value in it. I see you saving some time, but it also takes up a lot of space having everything pre-packaged as well. So it's just not a fit for me. There's a million different ways to skin a cat. So no, my bookkeeper does not handle my taxes. My bookkeeper, the goal of that is to get everything in line, my income, my expenses, everything organized. And really the main goal of having a bookkeeper, the value that I found in it, was when it came down to tax season, I had my bookkeeper, which is really a lot more than a bookkeeper. Again, I'm not going to dive into the details, but it's like having a strategic partner on your side. We brought my super nice, clean, organized books directly to my CPA, and it actually saved me money and saved me a lot of time of trying to explain everything to my new CPA that I had gotten, because they're able to speak their language, right? For me, it was always a challenge expressing different things to my CPA, and having someone on your team to be able to help you with that was it was huge. It was a huge time saver. So the goal of the bookkeeping is to have your books in line, have all your income in line, organized, all your expenses, so on and so forth. So I'm just looking through the comments right now. Question: I listed True Religion shorts and hat more than 2 weeks ago. No sale. Please help. Well, I made a video about this earlier today. You've got to make sure you've got it priced correctly. So the way that I price items in a nutshell is I find items that have sold in the past, comparable sales, and then I price it based off of that. So take a look at your pricing. Make sure that it's competitive. Make sure that you have taking really good pictures, make sure you've got a good description, make sure you've got an accurate title, a descriptive title, good keywords in there. There's a million different factors that can be playing into why or why not your items aren't selling. Is your feedback crap? Do you have good feedback? All these little things, play a role. Full-time college student in the house looking to switch to FBA soon. I'd say, put your toe in the water, give it a try. What's up, Margaret? Good to see you. eBay and Amazon, they're different games, and there's going to be different learning curves and different struggles and challenges, and there's benefits and there's pros and cons. Just get started. Don't overthink it. For folks always ask me, what do you think the best way to get started on Amazon FBA is? And I'd say, honestly, books. I think books are a great way to get started. Video games, board games, toys are great as well. I'd say stay away from having to prep different things at first just to learn the process. Board games, video games, although you have to prep them a little bit. I'm looking around for ideas. But books are definitely one of the greatest ways to get started. You just scan it. Scan the book and send it on off. Hey, what's going on, Lance? Good to see you. Yeah, some books just got restricted. I was actually just watching a video by my main man, RESELL, and he was talking about how there was a lawsuit from, what's that company called? Pearson and McGraw-Hill or whatever it's called, and another one as well. They were suing Amazon because there were so many counterfeit books coming onto the market. So they've actually restricted those brands selling them new. You can only sell them used. But, that's what's been happening all day long on Amazon. Things have been getting restricted. Hey, Texas Gal Treasures. What's going on, Margaret? Thanks for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. I was actually just talking with Margaret earlier today, and we're going to be putting together a little green room merch by Amazon workshop, hopefully with Joe Clay and Mike Peterson and possibly a few more people as well. So, hey, I appreciate that, Margaret. Be sure to give her a subscribe over at Texas Gal Treasures, especially if you're interested in merch by Amazon. I've been creeping on your channel lately, learning. Yeah, there's been a lot of fake books, Ronnie, coming out. Apparently, I haven't seen them with the the super new popular Pearson, whatever the one is, McGraw-Hill, or I forgot what it's called, but especially Pearson. So just be careful with that. I think they're only letting you sell them used now. Do you think feedback affects sales, and if so, tricks to get feedback? I think it has an effect. Right, but I don't think there's much of a difference. Like, for example, Ronnie Hart's in the house, who is an amazing eBay seller. Big shout out to him. Be sure to give him a subscribe on YouTube. Follow him. But let's just say he has 3,000 feedback and it's 99%. And then maybe, I don't know, someone else has 40 feedback and it's 99%. Do you think Ronnie's going to get a lot more sales than the person with 40 feedback? And maybe he's top rated and the other person's not. Maybe a couple more. There's definitely benefits to being a top-rated seller. I'm sure you rank better. I'm sure you get more views. You save money on fees. I just know that eBay is probably going to reward you for being a top-rated seller. And the more feedback, I'm sure there's some type of pull in the algorithm. I don't know. I'm just taking a wild guess. But I don't think that it's going to make the biggest difference in the world. I mean, as long as you don't have like 3 stars or you have like 2 feedback and you look super sketchy, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm guilty of this at times, getting caught up in the little details. I think the main thing you need to focus on is just finding really good products and listing them. Being consistent with your listing, doing your research, finding good products and just listing them. What do you recommend for a startup investment? I'm not sure if you're talking about like reselling wise or not, but this was my first year that I actually invested in my SEP IRA and a Roth IRA as well. So I'm actually investing in index fund. So that's my approach right now. I don't want to try to figure out how to beat the market. I'd rather just match the market. And also, CDs and different things like that. But I'm really a novice. Problem with donating? Have you not gotten $2 worth of value? I don't know what's going on. There might be a battle going on in the comments. What do you do with your eBay store when you go on vacation? I put it on vacation mode. If you have a store, you can actually put it on vacation mode, which I'm actually going to be doing soon because I'm going to the Seller Summit conference. What is it? May 16th to the 21st. Well, I'm going to be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the 16th to the 21st. There's a conference going on the 18th to the 21st. It's all about Shopify, private label, Amazon, wholesale, different things like that. There's going to be a lot of cool people there, from Greg Mercer to Scott Volker to Steve Chow, a lot of high-level sellers. So I'll definitely bring you guys behind the scenes and vlog that. I do have a video. It's probably from over a year ago. If you type in Raiken Profit Amazon Seller App, or if you just type in the Amazon Seller App, I do have a video that kind of shares a little bit about how it works and whatnot. But, either way, just look it up. I'm sure there's some people who have, more updated videos that can help you. I'm going to Fort Lauderdale. I can't say that. Fort Lauderdale. Eric says, FBA doesn't seem to be worth it compared to eBay. Steve, have you compared items you put on Amazon FBA versus putting them on eBay? They're both different marketplaces. For example, I could put a book on eBay and maybe get $8, but I'll get 22 or 23 on Amazon. Now, the profit margins are different, and Amazon does take more than eBay, but you're not having to pay that shipping fee in a sense. It's kind of a long story, but you get a discounted shipping rate shipping into the FBA warehouses. So it just really depends, It really, really depends on what you're selling, and certain products are better on certain platforms. The thing I like most about Amazon FBA, and why I've been selling mostly on Amazon and not eBay over the last year and a half, you haven't seen me doing a lot of these videos and inventory systems because I'd actually gotten away from eBay for a while. I kind of got, I don't know if burnt out is the right word, but I was just doing different things, to be 100% honest with you guys. But the thing I like most about Amazon is the fact that it's hands off. These products that you see right here are all going to get shipped off to the warehouse any day now. And once they land, obviously they're out of my workspace, so that's really good. But once it's there, I pay a little bit of a storage fee every month, and hopefully it sells before 6 months and I don't get hit with a long-term storage fee. But when it sells, they pick it, package, ship it, deal with customer service, and I get a check in the mail. Well, it's not a check in the mail, but it goes right to my bank. So that's what I like more about Amazon, is the hands-off. It's a different market. Plus, Amazon's like twice the size of eBay in terms of like the marketplace. Yeah, they will take used games. Hillbilly was asking about, can you sell used games on Amazon? It just depends on the game. You've got to scan it. Some are restricted. How long do you hold unsold inventory? Let's just talk about eBay. It really, really depends. If there's, for example, like something like this right here, which needs to be listed. Looks like I paid $12.99. This is a Territory Ahead leather jacket. Something like this, I'll probably list it up for, I don't know, $69 or something, or $79 or $59. I've got to do some research. I'm not entirely sure. But for $12.99, I'll put it up for $59.99. If it sits for 6 months, it sits for 6 months. If it sits for 6 months, it sits for 6 months. Who cares? Whoop-de-doo, But slowly over time, I'll go through my inventory and I'll see, okay, it's been, listed for 4 months. Maybe I move it down from 69 to 64. And in addition, what I've been doing lately is I've been running either a 5% or a 10% sale at all times, which I do believe helps boost sales and rankings and conversions and whatnot. So it really depends, If it's a little $9 video game that's been sitting for 9 months or 10 months and it just doesn't sell, I'll just end the listing and just donate it, because I just don't have time for that. So one thing I want to mention to you guys, and I'll keep you guys posted, is I just did my first 2 promoted listings on eBay. Do you guys know that you can actually promote your listings on eBay? You can pay. It's not pay per click. It's actually, instead of PPC advertising, it's PPS, pay per sale. And essentially what you can do, from my understanding, is you can promote items, which means, like, say for example, you type in, I don't know, Territory Head leather jacket. When you search the eBay page, you might be the 20th or 30th one in line, like all the way at the bottom of the page. It might be on page 2. But with promoted listings, you can actually get all the way to the top for the search term. I'm not exactly sure how it works, if it's keywords or what, but you can get on the first page all the way at the top by promoting your listings. and you tell eBay at the beginning of the campaign, I'm willing to pay this much for the sale. So for example, I can say, all right, I'm willing to pay 10% of the sale for you to promote this and get the sale for me. So right now it looks like you can only promote items that have more than a quantity of one. Because like my inventory only qualifies for like 5 items to promote. So I think right now it's kind of in beta, the promoted listings on eBay. But I'm actually really excited to try that out and experiment with it more. I actually have 2 listings right now that I'm promoting. One's like a tennis racket, and another one I think is some cleaning stuff, Myers or whatever. I've gotten like 300 impressions and like I think 25 or 26 clicks in a day on it. And I actually had gotten an offer. Wait, was it that? Yeah, I actually got an offer, but it was like kind of like not a low ball, but kind of a crappy offer on that tennis racket. So I think it's helping. I think it's working. But I've only been doing it for a couple days, so I'll keep you guys posted with the eBay promoted listings. Sorry if I'm missing some of your questions, guys. They're kind of going through quick. They're moving so fast. That would be a long time, Matt. You might want to see a doctor. What does this button do? I'm experimenting with something. Oh, wow. Did it just change the color? Am I black and white right now? Let me know. Am I black and white right now? Do I look like something crazy is going to happen? I just found this button on the screen and I'm experimenting with it. Am I black and white? Oh, man. I'm having a lot of fun right now. I'm going retro right now. This is like 2032. I'm still selling on eBay. Vintage. What about this one? Ooh, I like that. Uh-oh. 1965 Steve. What the heck is this? This is like Saturday night party. All right, let's get back to business, guys. I'm getting a little crazy over here. All right, there we go. So, what else is there to talk about? So, yeah, that's my inventory system, guys. Simple 5-tier shelving system. Got some plastic bins that I picked up from Walmart. Printed on a piece of paper with bin 1 through bin 8 on bin 1 through bin 8. Taped it on with a little bit of shipping tape, and that's about it. It's not very complicated, but it's going to save time. It's going to help to stay organized, and it's going to keep the stress levels down, which, if you're brand new to reselling, I want to tell you right now, it's relaxing at times, but it's also very, very stressful as well. Especially if you live a busy life where, every day I'm working out for an hour to 2 hours, waking up at 7, going to the gym for 2 hours. I got to get everything packaged, shipped. I'm coming back, YouTube video. I mean, I got a million things that I'm doing, and that's the way I love it. But it's stressful sometimes if you're not organized and you don't have systems in line. So it's just really, really important. So hopefully you guys found value in this video. If you did find value in it, do me a big favor, guys, and hit the like button. Hit the like button and show your support. I'm looking forward to doing more videos. If you guys ever have any questions, always leave a question after the video in the description. I do the best I can to answer the questions. Sometimes I just can't get to them. I run out of time. But a new thing that I'm going to be doing is answering the questions like live. Like if I see your question and it's, hey, how do you price items on eBay? I'll just go live and answer that question and really, sink my teeth into it the best that I can. So, I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for subscribing to this channel. And, appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next video. I'm going to head out and do some more listing. And, I'll talk to you then. When's the next show? Michael wants to know. Probably tomorrow. All right, guys. Bye.